The GDPR has introduced some new concepts to the data protection effort too. Let's have a look at what they are. Click through the microfilm canisters below. 1. Pseudonymization. This effectively means taking any data and making it not directly identifiable, like by hashing or scrubbing the data. Engineering teams should be already applying pseudonymization of data as far as possible. If not, get cracking. However, the GDPR specifically defines this process and incentivizes it by reducing the requirements if the data has been pseudonymized. For instance, depending on the circumstances, individuals would not necessarily need to be notified if pseudonymized data is stolen. Accordingly, engineering teams should consider pseudonymization during the design phase of any project. They'll want to ensure that, where possible, encryption or pseudonymization techniques are applied. 2. Consent. There's no half-hearted consent under the new laws. Under the GDPR, it must be any freely given, specific, informed, and unambiguous indication of the data subject's wishes by which he or she, by a statement or by a clear affirmative action, signifies agreement to the processing of personal data relating to him or her. What that basically means is they've got to be totally up for their data to be processed by you. Companies will need to reevaluate consent. With GDPR, the indication must be unambiguous and involve a clear affirmative action. No tricking anyone into it. Companies will need to ensure that, where consent is relied on, certain characteristics are applied. That means it's not hidden in a big pile of general terms and conditions. There's active opt-in. There's clear record keeping regarding the consent received. Individuals can withdraw consent at any time, and they are aware of this. So where does this apply? HR departments for one. They'll need to audit HR data that is being stored, review where they've relied upon consent, potentially consider alternative options to justify data processing, like legitimate interests, ensure general transparency regarding the data being processed and the purpose for such processing. Marketing departments are affected too. They'll need to assess scenarios where they are relying on consent to collect and process personal data. Where they are relying on consent, they should establish that there is a clear affirmative action and consent is unbundled, and that they have a clear record of this. In many cases, this may require asking third-party marketing vendors about compliance with GDPR consent. Again, anyone in your organisation will need to be aware of the enhanced responsibilities of the affected departments, and there needs to be adequate training to reflect this. 3. Right not to be profiled by automatic means. This right allows individuals to ask what information is being taken by automatic means, and to request that there are no automatic decisions made using their data. Even if they don't make any such requests, an individual should always be notified before any automatic decision-making takes place. Bear in mind, this right doesn't apply if there's any human intervention. So, there are many processes that could involve a degree of profiling or human decision-making that would be excluded from this definition. 4. Accreditation. The GDPR endorses and encourages the use of accredited third parties to provide assurances to customers of compliance. You don't have to sign up to these schemes, obviously, but it can provide customers with comfort that any organisation is trying to comply with the requirements. It can also improve general privacy good practice, transparent processing, and mitigate against enforcement action. You've seen them all? Good. Let's move on.